An open letter to visual artists. This is what a crescent moon looks like, and this is how some of you decided to make it. With that shading. You know what? That irks me. I know, I'm probably overreacting, and that not all artists are to blame. I'm also aware that these illustrations are judged based on artistic merit rather than geometric accuracy. But still, that's wrong. Let me show you what a crescent moon should really look like. The first thing that we need to get into our heads is that the moon is not a flat disk, it's a sphere. Yes, I know it's more of an ellipsoid, but a sphere is a darn good approximation to its shape. And it's a lot easier to work with too, so we'll stick with that. Now we have our sphere, but we can't see it. It's time to bring in some sunlight. Let's assume that the sun illuminates exactly one entire hemisphere at any given time, leaving the other side in complete darkness. And, once again, we are approximating. Sunlight doesn't hit every part of a spherical object with the same intensity. If it weren't for that, we wouldn't have the seasons. We could go on and on adding more and more detail, getting just as precise as we'd like. But it wouldn't serve our purposes. Today, we just want to focus on the moon's overall geometry, and this model moon helps us visualize it the most easily. Also, the graphics are easier to make. Anyway, now that we have our moon, let's take a look at it from the Earth's perspective. But I'm stretching it a bit by calling it perspective, because perspective implies all sorts of visual effects like angular size, the vanishing point, and all that other good stuff that happens when you see the world essentially through two handheld cameras embedded in your face. But we don't need all this, because the moon from our perspective looks pretty small. When you get the chance, compare the apparent size of the moon to that of your thumbnail held at an arm's length while having only one eye open. You may be surprised. The moon is so far away that it appears kind of puny. And because of that, from our vantage point, the moon is extremely close to being in a parallel projection, which is much easier to work with than perspective. So, once again, we'll stick with that. Finally, we can now actually see how our model moon looks. Nice! Now let's analyze this 3D rendering and see how to draw it in a 2D workspace. The outer edge should appear as part of a circle, for obvious reasons. Now what about the inner edge? The border between the light and dark sides of the moon is just a great circle, going around our entire moon, dividing it into 2 equal halves. It just so happens that the projection of a circle from 3D space to a 2D surface is an ellipse, so the inner edge of the crescent moon should appear as part of an ellipse, because it is part of the projection of the great circle. We now have all we need to draw our crescent moon. Let's begin. Welcome to the Crescent Moon drawing tutorial. Step 1. Draw a circle. Step 2. Draw an ellipse that is the same height as the circle, but not as wide. Step 3. Fill the 3 regions in appropriately. Much better. Okay, visual artists, you now have no excuses. Let the geometrically accurate crescent moons be seen along with your full and new moons. Just one more question though. Why do we never get to see any gibbous moons? Sincerely, a very picky YouTuber.